In the dusty town of Tombstone, Wyatt Earp had spent years enforcing the law, maintaining an uneasy peace. After the legendary gunfight at the OK Corral, he was a man changed, but his world was far from over. The town was still rife with danger, but Wyatt held on to his sense of justice until everything he knew was shattered. One night, a bullet struck Wyatt's brother Morgan as he sat in a saloon. The blow wasn't just physical, it shattered Wyatt's belief in law and justice. His brother lay dead, his family torn apart, and in that moment, Wyatt knew he was being called to a path he'd never planned to walk. He'd fought for justice all his life, but now justice felt hollow. What remained was vengeance, a call he could not ignore. For a brief moment, Wyatt hesitated. He was a man who lived by rules, who had sworn to uphold the law. But that life, that belief, was gone. The system had failed him, leaving him with a choice. Let his brother's murder go unpunished, or become the very thing he'd once fought against. This would be no ordinary pursuit. It would be his darkest journey yet. Wyatt gathered a group of allies, men who shared his anger, his pain, and his thirst for retribution. Doc Holliday stood beside him, a loyal friend ready to follow him into the depths. With each step out of Tombstone, Wyatt crossed into unknown territory. He was no longer a lawman, he was something else, a man on a vendetta. The road was harsh, a trail marked by dust, danger, and blood. Wyatt's posse tracked the outlaws across the desolate Arizona territory, each mile blurring the line between justice and revenge. Wyatt faced the Cowboys, one by one, Florentino Cruz, Curly Bill Brosis, and with every encounter he edged closer to becoming a figure of fear, a shadowed avenger in the minds of men. Through canyons and rivers, Wyatt hunted them down. Some townspeople whispered of his relentless nature, others called it madness. But for Wyatt, this journey was a necessary descent. With each victory, Wyatt felt the cost of his actions weigh heavier. His close friend Doc Holliday saw the toll it was taking and began to worry. Friends and allies faded away, leaving Wyatt alone with his purpose. He had lost family, his honor, and now his very soul seemed at risk. This was the heart of darkness, a journey that went beyond revenge. It was about the man he was becoming, the man he might never escape. Near Iron Springs, Wyatt faced his greatest adversary, Curly Bill Brosis, a man feared and respected by outlaws and lawmen alike. In a fierce showdown, gunfire echoed through the canyon, the clash of two forces bound by violence and survival. When the smoke cleared, Curly Bill lay dead, and Wyatt Earp had emerged victorious. But at what cost? In this moment, Wyatt's transformation was complete. He had walked the darkest path, taken his vengeance, and become a figure both feared and revered. Wyatt had succeeded. The Cowboys were defeated, their hold on Tombstone broken. Yet the victory felt hollow. The justice he'd once valued was gone, replaced by something raw and ruthless. In his quest to avenge his brother, he had lost the man he once was. This was his reward, a legacy marred by blood and shadow. Wyatt Earp returned to society, but he was no longer the man who'd sworn to uphold the law. He was a ghost, haunted by what he'd done, by the darkness he'd embraced. His legend would live on, a story told in saloons and on street corners, a tale of vengeance and blood. Wyatt Earp's Vendetta Ride was the final chapter of his western journey, a man who had gone to the edge of darkness and returned, forever changed. Today, we remember him as both hero and outlaw, a symbol of the thin line between justice and revenge. The Vendetta Ride was more than a pursuit, it was a transformation. Wyatt Earp's story is not just one of gunfights and lawmen, but of a man who faced the limits of justice and became something else entirely. As we close this chapter, we're left to ask, Was Wyatt Earp a hero or a man lost to vengeance? In the end, his legacy stands, a haunting reminder of the unforgiving West.